2003's The Room is, hey Lyra, is Tommy Wiseau's directorial, writing, producing, acting debut. Hey, you're still here, hey. He's some man from somewhere who came out of nowhere and decided he was going to direct the greatest, most heart-wrenching film ever. And it's been spoken upon in the internets for ages because to many, or to anyone who hasn't seen a Neil Breen film, it's the best bad movie ever made. I don't need to tell you about the plot, the failures, the storytelling, but what you should know about is the experience it is, seeing this film as a midnight screening. It's the closest thing that I've experienced to a religious revival. Everyone in the audience has seen the film dozens of times. They can mouth every word. Hey. They can mouth every line of dialogue, sing along with all the ridiculous songs, which was fun. And there was sort of a call and response relationship with the film. So one of the great failures of storytelling in the film is scene transitions. Every transition from scene to scene is an establishing shot, and this fucks up the timing and resonance of the film. It just breaks everything up so badly. So you'll have a scene, and then a 30-second establishing shot of, say, the Golden Gate Bridge or a cable car, something like that, to say, hey, we're in San Francisco. We're actually filming on location in San Francisco. Look at this shit. And it totally wrecks the flow of the story because the two scenes, bridged by this establishing shot, are actually happening at the same time or next to each other or consecutively. And it gets ridiculous when it comes to, say, the climax of the film, the birthday party. You'll have scene, 30-second establishing shot that makes it feel like you're going to a different place on a different day, but it's actually seconds later after the next scene, and it's just wonderful. And the crowd responds to that. I didn't know that it was a thing. This was my first viewing of The Room. You're mean. This was my first viewing of The Room as a midnight feature, my first viewing of The Room in a cinema. And supposedly that's a thing you do. You get an establishing shot of some place in San Francisco. You shout out, "Where are we? Where are we?" It was fun, and I was tempted to join in toward the end. I was still in my corner, hunkered down. It was lovely to see people shout out spoons and throw from their Costco boxes of plastic spoons. It was a cavalcade everywhere. It was marvelous. It was my first truly communal experience at a film screening, and it's something that you should take part of if at all possible. I would suggest not doing this as a first showing, though, because it may be a little overwhelming to the senses. The movie itself is kind of daunting to follow why things are happening the way they are, because no one reacts in a human way. And having the call and response and people speaking along, singing along with the movie, it could be a little much for a newbie. I mean, this was my third, fourth viewing of the film, and I was just barely hanging on, but it was a good experience. The Room was an excellent bookend with the second film I saw this week, because shockingly they bear many similarities to each other. Transitions as a means of storytelling. The Room does it in the worst way possible. And my second film does it in a magnificent way that becomes not only a reminder of the theme of the film, not only a means of conveying the importance of travel, of a through line of the whole city, but it becomes a heartbeat of sorts and leads to marvelous different cuts and transitions. Also, The Room and my second film have very similar antagonists who just want to sow chaos in the world because, I don't know, they like it. (1979's) The Warriors is directed by Walter Hill. It's his third feature. His debut was the criminally underrated Hard Times, starring Charles Bronson. It's a really dirty, gritty, just visceral film about organized street fighting. It's like, UFC shit back, when that was banned and stuff. Stick in. Other films Walter Hill went on to direct include 48 Hours. Well, I need to rewatch 48 Hours. All I remember is seeing it as a kiddo when it was a cable mainstay. It might be shitty. I remember Nick Nolte being really shitty and really racist and shit. Otherwise, I heard it was good. Anywho, 48 Hours, Southern Comfort, Crossroads, Brewster's Millions, and a few others. And his writing credits include an early script for Alien, the treatment for Aliens, which, make it a shoot-'em-up actioner with the Space Marines and shit. James Cameron ended up cleaning up the script, so I've read. And many biopics and westerns, including Deadwood, Geronimo, An American Legend, and Wild Bill biopic that he also directed. The Warriors, little beknownst to me, was a perfect bookend to The Room. The Warriors exemplifies brilliant technical filmmaking where The Room failed. The Room failed to establish geography in a fluid and convincing way, emotion, motivation, and The Warriors does all of this in the first 5 minutes. So it just starts out with Cleon letting the Warriors know, hey, we're gonna go to the Bronx, we're gonna do this and this and this, here's who's gonna be here, this is gonna happen. Well, why are we gonna listen to Cyrus speak? Well, because of this and this. Who is Cyrus? This. Where are we? Well, we're here on the subway map, and we need to go all the way out here. And the whole time, the subway is intercut between all of these little snippets that are 5 seconds long or shorter, just very interspersed. Not quite overwhelming though, because it's all so simple. The Warriors' speech and thought and understanding of situations is very childlike, which, they're teeny boppers. It should be childlike. But the story is very bare bones, and the film itself doesn't take place so much in the story, but in the emotion and the journey. Scene transitions with the train. Everything is about the train and movement. We are moving from Coney to the Bronx. The train is constantly flowing. The train is like the ocean in in the Odyssey, or I'm trying to think of what this was adapted from Xenophon, but I never read it, so I shouldn't even mention it. The train is life. The train is how they're going to get home. The train is their path, their way. And we're constantly reminded of the train by all of the transitions that become whip pans in later scenes, which are just marvelous because whip pans just out of nowhere feel ridiculous outside of, Chinese martial arts cinema, which I'm hoping Walter Hill was inspired by. So we see a lot of whip pans and rack focuses just out of nowhere, and that's very unusual in mainstream American cinema. Everything is very simple and straightforward, but there's movement and life to the film, so it's just the perfect bookend to the room. Also, fuck Ajax. He rubbed me off as a rapist, and I'm glad he got busted. Poor Cleon. Cleon shouldn't have got busted. Poor guy who got the fuck ran over by the train. After 5 seconds of Googling, it was Fox that got smushed by the train. The Warriors excelled at visual storytelling, culminating in the scene where the kids on their prom date are sitting across from Swan and Chica on the train, and they're a dark reflection of each other. The prom kids are looking at how fucked up Swan and Chica are, and Chica's she's trying to comport herself, and Swan's just like, you don't have to worry about that. It's wonderful visual storytelling. The kiss in the subway with the train going by, it's maybe a little over the top. I dug it though. I dug it, and then Swan just switches, and you're getting less diggage out of me. We don't need a bipolar Swan. Although, Swans kind of are that way. I could have also done without the Scooby-Doo ending where we reveal who the baddie was at the end, and the riffs are there, and they get to overhear everything, and they dispense with the baddie, and every loose end is tied up. Well, except, Cleon and Ajax. What did Cleon say about Cyrus? He's magic. The film is magic. It takes place in a different world. I mean, those gangs are so ridiculous. That's what kiddo me cued in on. Okay, watching it as a pre-teeny bopper, teeny bopper, at some age. And watching it now, you realize they're soldiers of different armies. They're not operating by the same rules that we operate with in this universe, and it's nice. It's a film that takes place in a world parallel to ours, and much like The Room, we have an anarchist, a nihilist antagonist who sows discord just because they like it. The Warriors is wonderfully analogous to The Room, and the Warriors excels at everything The Room fails at. It's such a perfect pairing, and I didn't realize it at the time, and I just stumbled into it. Again, it's magic. Enjoy expression. Enjoy each other. And see you at the movies.